we're going to save you a ton of money if you're planning on living here in Massachusetts. Hey everyone, my name is Matt Swierk. I'm a local real estate expert right here in the state of Massachusetts with the Legacy Star team powered by Keller Williams Realty. Now, if this is the first time you come to our channel, welcome. We talk everything about Massachusetts, whether it's eating, sleeping, drinking, playing, some of the ways you can save some money if you're planning on living here. So you definitely want to click that little subscribe button, hit that little bell. That way, every time we make a new video, you're going to get notified. And give us a thumbs up because we love the encouragement. Now, you have all kinds of questions about the area. We have all kinds of answers about the area. One thing you got to remember, when it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back. All right, they say that Massachusetts is very expensive to live. And while that is true, we're going to give you some life hacks as far as how you can save some money if you're looking to move here or live here in the great Bay State of Massachusetts. So the first one we wanted to bring up, and this is not some big mind-blowing comment. However, we really want you to pick a great area to live in. Now, everyone thinks that downtown Boston is the place to be, and of course, it has a lot as far as a small radius, so it's all going to be there. However, you don't need to live in Boston just to get some of those great amenities. There's a lot of great communities that are spread out throughout the state. A lot of them are actually accessible on our commuter rail, or the MBTA. We call it the T, where it'll easily get you right into Boston. And some of these places are only an hour outside the city. So you have communities like Air, you have communities like Haverhill. Again, not too far away, depending on what your driving preference is. And these places are a fraction of the cost to live in versus downtown Boston itself. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Now, the other thing, we have some cheaper alternatives as far as than some of the big name brands, if you will, or the well-known places. So one of the great places as far as groceries, we have your Stop and Shop. That's a local place. A lot of people out of the country wouldn't know, or out of the state wouldn't know Stop and Shop. But we have a lot of kind of national chains here for grocery stores. We've got some of the well-known ones. Have just come in, not as of not too late, because we've had a lock on private grocery chains for a long time. It's kind of a strange thing. But there's one local company that has really expanded, and it's a place called Market Basket. Market Basket, it's phenomenal. It is one of those places that we know that rising food costs, are really affecting people's pockets, rising gas prices, rising everything. So we always like to guide people towards Market Basket because I think their slogan's like more for your dollar. And it's just they have a well-known culture there. All the kids, I call them kids, but all the kids, everyone wears a tie. Like, you see that when they go in there, they got a great dress code, and it's a really nice experience. My favorite one is over in, oh my gosh, where's my favorite one? Over in Leominster, Massachusetts. They have an amazing sushi area. And I gotta tell you, it's really funny that I would promote sushi from a grocery store chain. However, oh my gosh, there's this one family that rents the space, and they just put their heart and soul into everything they make. So if you're looking for great sushi, you got to go to Market Basket in Leominster. Okay, the other one is that, as far as food places are concerned, we have all the big restaurants, we have all the chain restaurants, but there's a lot of places that really understand that people are looking to, to come on a budget, right? So we mentioned Haverhill before. You can get a 2-foot-long sub for only $15 at this great place called Benedetti's. Benedetti's. And they're, oh my gosh, like, Tyler brought food in one day, and the thing was just huge, and he's like, Matt, you're really gonna eat that whole thing? And I was like, I'm gonna, and I couldn't even finish it, and so the food was absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of the businesses have shifted, let's get into economics real quick, the law of supply and demand. Well, when prices are lower, you're going to have more demand. And a lot of the restaurants have figured out that equation of let's have lower pricing with great quality, and that's going to help to fuel their businesses. So it's one of those things that, if you're looking for, I'm always going to tell you great places to go eat, but we'll kind of give you some of those little hole in the wall places that, they're off the beaten path. Sometimes that's some of the best food that you can get, doesn't matter where you go in the country. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull this page. Excuse me. All right. Ooh. Okay, here we go. All right, the third point we want to make is this is going to be interesting, but we're going to bring up the fact of look for an affordable condo. Right, so a lot of people when they first come here, they're not really sure if they want a single family, they want a condo, a multifamily, they want to rent, and for us, it is what it is. I am not a big fan of telling people to go rent, only because anyone that has watched a lot of these videos or knows some of my background is I started off as an investor in real estate. So I became a landlord or a property owner years ago. And for that business model, yes, it's great that people are paying us to live in our properties. However, on the flip side, for what I refer to as the retail side of real estate, you're paying someone else to live there. So that money is going into their buy down of their equity, and it's money that we really feel that people are throwing away, throwing out the window. So yes, if it's a temporary thing, great, but long term, I don't recommend it. Of course, there's some people that just don't want to deal with the aspects of home ownership, and I can understand that. But we just want people to be strategic as far as their money's concerned, their disposable income. The other thing with the condo market here is they haven't appreciated as high as the single family homes. So that's why we like to give that as far as a recommendation. Another thing, I'll just give you a prime example. Tyler, who we talk about all the time, who's the behind the scene guy. He's not behind this screen right now, but he's the behind the scene guy. Tyler just bought this awesome place over in Lowell, Massachusetts. Great city that's off of the 495 belt of the outside as far as Boston is concerned. Paid $310,000 for it. It's a luxury building. It's a mill building, right? So it's got the huge 12-foot ceilings, which is great because he's like 13 feet high. I'm just kidding, he's a tall guy. But 1,400 square feet, they have a community gym in the building. So there's still lots of great deals out there as far as condos are concerned. The biggest thing that we always advise with is we want to just make sure we look at what the HOA fee is and what the budget looks like for that condo association. Because anytime we're helping people buy a place, I say, hey, listen, we want to look at that association because it essentially is a business and we want to see how well they run the business. So we like to dig in and find out, is there special assessments? What does that mean? Say that there's going to be roof repairs or siding repairs or any type of common area maintenance fees that might increase the condo fee. We want to know that before we get into one of those situations. Now, the other thing that we're going to say is look out west. Now, west is going to mean different things to different people depending on if you grew up here in the state. It's one of those things that and this is true, I think, for most cities, the concept of urban sprawl, as prices have gone skyrocketing in some of the cities, urban sprawl, and this has been happening, for years and years and years in Massachusetts. But basically, it pushes out. Now, we can't go too far out because then you're going to end up in the ocean, so that's not really going to work. But as we start to go out west, there's a lot of areas that have started to flourish and have, gotten some high demand. And even communities that, in the past 10 years that were affordable, those ones are starting to push out a little bit further. So the biggest thing is when it comes to any of these areas in Massachusetts, the first question we always ask is, what are you looking for? What's your lifestyle going to be? What are the amenities you're looking for? Because some people think that they have to be very close to the city. However, that's not the case. And what I love about our state is that we have a great public transportation system. So I just brought it up earlier in the video, we have the MBTA. When I was a kid, that really just meant the red line to me, because growing up in Quincy, we had multiple stops Boston, Quincy, and so we would just go up and down and get out and run around all over the place, and that's how I learned Boston. But you have multiple lines that kind of finger off of the red line. You have the orange line, you have the blue line, there's the green line, which is more of a trolley system. We can get into more specifics of that at a different time. It's not like San Francisco type of trolleys. So then you have I refer to as like the purple line, right? And so I don't even know if that's the correct name for it, but the purple line to me is the commuter rail. And those are lines, it's the high-speed rail that runs into, it all kind of gets down into Boston itself. Like I said earlier, TD Garden or North Station. So some people like to do that, whether it's for environmental concerns of not sitting in traffic with their cars running, or just not having to deal with the stress and anxiety of, finding a place to park, and then, just the whole thing is, we get some interesting comments, especially around the winter time, of people like, what is it like to drive in the snow? And it's one of those things, it's very difficult to describe what happens when it snows here. I mean, most of the people grew up here, know how to deal with it. I lived in Seattle for a little bit of time. There was like an inch of snow that dusted on the ground, and I gotta tell you, like, people were freaking out, not knowing what to do, and like everyone stayed home. And I was like, what's going on here? And they're like, well, it's snowing. I say, yeah, but it's like an inch. And they're like, yeah, but we can't drive in that. So it's definitely, we're not talking about driving here in Massachusetts, but the commuter rail is a great option if you just want to kind of sit back, decompress, read the paper, or read your tablet to get the paper. I don't know how many people read the actual paper these days. But definitely going out west, more value, and a little bit calmer, a little bit slower. There's some beautiful, beautiful scenery out in Western Massachusetts. So we definitely love that area as well. All right, so again, we just want to hit fast and furious. We don't like to make these things super, super long because we don't want you to fall asleep. But that's just a couple different things as far as thinking about how do you combat some of the costs of of Massachusetts. And my wife always gets upset, and she said, Matt, when you do these videos of like the cost of living in Massachusetts, it makes my skin crawl. And I just say, hey, it is what it is. We pay a lot to live here. We get a lot for living here. Just an amazing place to be. So if you're coming here you're looking to relocate here, you're just coming to vacation, you just want some ideas as far as the area is concerned, you definitely want to reach out to us. You can get in touch with us with so many different ways. We have new team members and new systems in place to be able to handle all the incoming inquiries and requests. We honor the fact that you check out our channel. We really appreciate it. You have questions, we have answers. Like I said, reach out any way you feel appropriate. We got to remember one thing: when it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back.